Hi.
Hello and welcome to EarthStar Talk. Today I have a very special guest, Allison McKay, a stand-up comedian, and she has done so many films, music, and TV series. It's just amazing. Nice to see you.
It's amazing for me too, kiddo. Yes, it's me, Allison McKay, the plumber's wife for Liquid Plumber for 15 years. I'm sure that of all the things I could be remembered for, cleaning drains will probably be number one, unfortunately. But it did.
Well, you have been playing for
unclogged my situation. Let's put it that way.
Adam Bloom. I meet you there. The Village TV series, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a video game, transparent video series, throwing shade video series. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on.
I hardly remember, but you know what? I have to tell you about Red Dead Redemption. That's one of those video games.
Yes.
And I had never done, since I've been over 80, I have done so many things that I never thought I'd do in my whole life. One of them is this, I forget what it's called, but they put me in a big room with a rubber suit on, and then they put ping pong balls all over my body. And I walked in this room, and it was like a cavernous, kind of like an airplane hangar, you know, and there was a huge screen at one end of the room. And on that screen was kind of a witchy looking character. She was just there. She had, unattractive. Anyway, I said, "Who is that?" And when I pointed like that, she pointed back at me, and I realized that was me. So that's what I played in Red Dead Redemption 2. I played, I don't know what I played. It's just an old lady, and I collected dead animals and I stuffed them. So I don't know if I was a taxidermist or just a crazy old lady, but it was pretty funny. Anyway, that was something really strange that I did. And
we're invited here because I perceive that spirituality has something to do with joy and uplifting one's own spirit, and comedians definitely do that. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the connection to the spirit world. We had another chat the other day, and you were telling me a little bit that you know, you were one of the first people who even did stand-up comedianship, and it was not done for women. Tell us a little bit about your start and beginning.
Tell a little bit about what I didn't hear.
Your start and your beginning. You were talking last time about how you started, and that it was unusual for women to be in your.
My first job. I will say this. Of course, I have a degree in journalism and advertising from the University of Oregon. I'm very proud of them. Except that it's a good thing I didn't stay with it, because the newspaper business is really gone down the drain with the Liquid Plumber. But anyway, I always sang and danced, and since I was a small child, because I was born knock-kneed, and I just had a lot of trouble walking, so my mother gave me dancing lessons. So my first job was in San Francisco, and as I think I told you before, my Phyllis Diller was there at the same time, sort of breaking in, and she was at one club and I was at Bimbo's 365 Club, which I think is still there. But in those days, you couldn't be a woman and be a comedian, because that was reserved for men. So women had to sing. So they would open the show, and then would come the comedian. So, thank God I could sing, because I would put my little funny stuff in between. And Phyllis Diller, I loved her dearly, but she had the worst voice in life. And I said, what are you going to do? She said, I don't know. I have to do something. I got these 6 kids to support and a drunken husband that she had to take with her because she was afraid if she left him home, he'd burn down the house. Anyway, but when she sang, it was so funny that people laughed. So, you know, she made it work, as we say. And that was my first job. And then a squirrel is kind of a character because Mr. Bimbo was, of course, Italian. And I guess this guy was a mobster. I don't like to think about it, but he was a big pusher in my life. And he was always nice to me. And it wasn't until I got to the Desert Inn in Las Vegas that the owner said, stay away from that man, because if he gets killed, then you go with him. And then I understood the structure of you know, the mafiosi. But anyway, he said, you don't belong at Bimbo's. I've got connections in Vegas and you'll go there. So I went there.
And that's when you started singing and dancing and also doing comedianship.
Yes. Oh, yes, that's true. And I had my own column in the entertainment guide because I was basically a writer to start with, you know, being in advertising. And my column was called You Better Believe It. And I thought I was exposing everyone, but I really wasn't, because we couldn't do that in those days or we wouldn't have had our column very long. But yeah, that was my job. Someplace I have all kinds of things written down that eventually I'll write a book. But that's when my knees are kind of not speaking to each other now. So I guess they'll get worse and I won't be able to move around, and then I'll just have to write.
Sounds like a plan. Hopefully your knees will keep on talking to each other, that it still works and you don't have to write the book, but tell it to the audience. So tell us a little bit about your connection to the spirit world. In my view, as I said, we need joy to uplift our spirit. And you definitely have done this for a long period of time. Have you had other spiritual experiences in your life besides uplifting?
Well, yes, I will tell you that I had COVID. I got COVID. I went in to have my shoulder fixed because I abused it by pushing up to save my knees. It's a whole big round circuit. And they put me in a rehab and I caught the COVID. So my daughter got me to a hospital and they took me in. And I just thought I was going to die. I said, no, I don't. No, don't worry. A lot of older people get it, and don't worry, you won't. Okay. So I'm in there, and for maybe a week I was in there before I got a negative. And while I was in there, they said I was hallucinating. So I think it went to my brain. Right. And well, everybody that I knew, my friends and my relatives that had passed over, they went through my room. And I talked to my mother, maybe about 2 nights, and she'd been dead for 10 years. So I knew something was wrong and I couldn't put 2 words together. And they said, don't worry. I tried to say something to my nurse. It wouldn't come out. To still, I know what the word starts with, and I kind of go through the alphabet until I get the, I guess eventually it will come around, but it's only been a year. So what can I say?
To me, it's amazing that people do not believe when patients tell them that they're seeing the spirits from crossed over loved ones.
Yeah.
Because I know that many nurses who, for example, do hospice work, they have seen visitations, maybe because they are more attuned to it than others, and the regular hospital nurses have not. But I find that when people have near-death experience, and I mean, COVID is not necessarily laughing matter, specifically in the first stages when the first variant happened, a lot of people had ventilator scenarios, and they also started because their near-death experiences seem crossed over loved ones. So it's not really uncommon. But then now it stopped and now you're off the hook and hopefully living many more years. So very
Excuse me.
interesting. So how do you connect the spirit personally? You talked about your writer, so you're writing. And to me, when a person does paintings or writes, they are channeling in a way. They are connected to spirit because it comes from somewhere. Same when you're doing stand-up comedianship, how do you do that? How do you get your information? Does it just fall into your head? How do you prepare for it? How do you write by logic, or does it just come to you and flow? How does it work?
You know, but that is true what you say, because I read where Shakespeare, excuse me, was, I'm so sorry. I think I have a Volkswagen in there. Anyway, where Shakespeare was an automatic writer for Sir, oh gosh, I can't think of his name, but yeah, somebody, Francis Bacon, Sir Francis Bacon, and because they wrote just the same, and Francis Bacon would be a good person to be a, you know, to be a co-writer with. And I like to call it a co-writer because I think that Shakespeare had to have some kind of talent. It wasn't all Francis Bacon, but that's what happened. Anyway, I don't think I have well, I have spirit guides. I know that because they keep getting me through. But I don't think I have a co-writer. But I do know that the hallucination thing, I really don't think it's so much hallucination as I think it's really happening in the hereafter. And I, you know, just last week, my, my grandmother walked through my bedroom and I said, wait a minute, this is my room. And she didn't say anything, but she walked through and it was her. And of course, she's been gone for 20 years.
That's amazing. Well, you know, according to the time frame between December and January 4, the curtain between the world is really thin, and we can get visitations easier. We in Germany call that Rauhnächte. These are nights where people dream about things to come. They're getting their visions of the future, oftentimes meaningful encounters. And yes, sometimes we can have visitations from crossed over loved ones because the veil, the curtain, is so thin. But tell me a little bit about when you're doing your stand-up comedianship in the spare of the moment. How does it work for you?
Well, you know what? I don't really know. I just look at the people, I see their faces, and I have to say, you know, I work with the crowd always. I don't have a lot planned, maybe 2 or 3 jokes, you know. But I think I told you before that I had been told by many different psychics that I am a natural healer.
Right.
Well, when I was in Florida doing the fabulous Florida Follies, which I wrote and produced, it was very inspirational for the seniors. In fact, I still get you know, emails, please come back, we miss you. Yes, it gave them something to go on, you know, to know that they're not just old, that they have something to give to life. And well, when I was there, I had
you told me that you did a lot of healing work on people, you know, because somebody
I was going to say, I wish I could remember the name of that, but it was just the healing, 3 different healing things.
Like
well, I tried the hands-on, I tried the mind working, I tried the nothing. It was horrible. I didn't heal anybody. And I started to think, and I thought, well, maybe something came to me from the outer fringes. You are a comedian, you are an entertainer, and you make people laugh. And what could be more healing than laughter? Exactly. And I feel that when I perform. That a Red Skelton said to me once, and I was working with him and he said, you're a lot like me. Tell me, would you rather have a standing ovation or a room full of laughter? And I said, well, there's no choice. I would rather have laughter. He said, me too. Because then you know that you have reached them and that they're having fun and that they're enjoying the
And
world.
bringing lightheartedness and upliftedness to the
Yeah,
world.
yeah. Well, laughter is, I think about laughter, and well, in comedy, we have we have the three rule, and three is such
Also spiritual number
a
of
spiritual
shape.
number, and it's 1 point, 2 point, and then the payoff. Let me give you an example. Priest and the rabbi are talking, and the rabbi says, well, how come you wear your collar turned from the front to the back like that? And the priest said, well, I'm a father. Well, the rabbi says, by me, I'm a father too. At home, I got A, B, a Z, or even Saul. I don't wear my collar turned from the front to the back like that. And he said, no, you don't really understand, Rabbi. You see, I'm a father of millions. And he says, millions, oi, maybe you should turn your pants around. So that's the priest, the rabbi, and the payoff. And that's kind of what comedy is, if you're telling a joke.
Wonderful.
I'm not a joke teller per se, but I do love to work with the crowd. And I do, say like, well, look at you. Who are you with there? Is that your choice? Ooh,
So
bam.
besides keeping an uplifted spirit and an uplifted mind, which you're obviously contributing in these rough times,
Yeah.
do you have any message for people what to do to get more uplifted, how to draw and how to see the funny side of life, how to see the lighthearted side of life? Any ideas how people at home, the viewers themselves, could get a little bit out of their own mind and feel more the joy? Because obviously you have to draw it from somewhere, right? You have to create it from somewhere.
Well, looking in the mirror, and if that doesn't make you laugh. Anyway, yeah, I say, especially right now, I said, please wear those masks and be nice to your friends and your relatives, because, they may come back to haunt you. They have me.
Well, that's a true word. Interesting. Well, beside the extraordinary experiences with your near-death experience going forward, what experience would you say was the most important one in your life? We talked a little bit the other day, but what comes to mind when I say, what was your essence for life?
Well, you mean besides laughter, besides everything else, well, during it, there was a small period for a Proposition 10, I think it was, or maybe 8, in Palm Springs. And I was in Palm Springs doing a show called Loosh that my daughter wrote. And we were there for quite some time. And well, it was July and it was really hot. And nobody wanted to come to rehearsal. So I said, well, we better do something else. And it was right in that small period of Prop 8, maybe. And it was same-sex marriage. And the way it was written, if you said yes, you were voting against it. So I wanted to get in that small window of opportunity. I wanted to be able to get as many same-sex couples married as I could. So I got myself,
Minister's
into what do you call it?
Minister's license.
Yeah. I got my minister's license. Ordained is what I was.
Yeah.
I was ordained the Reverend Rainbow, and I married quite a few same-sex couples, and I'll tell you, they would cry. They were all nervous. They were, and they laughed and they were happy. And I thought, if I can make that many people happy, it's the same as laughter. And what's life about? I mean, to start with, who can tell you who to love?
Exactly.
It's how is it hurting anybody? I don't understand that.
Right.
If they
Love
want to
is
do it and
definitely an
they're
essence.
happy. Yeah. That's
Love is
it.
definitely an essence on all level. So I enjoy that you took great pride in making people's love visible to the world, and the commitment, because marriage is also commitment,
Yeah.
and to multiply the love in their lives. That's wonderful. And I
Well,
would say with that, last remark to folks who visiting this channel: love a little bit more these days, take yourself a little bit less serious. I think that's what we can take away from the show, and try to focus on things to make you lighthearted and uplifted, and maybe watch some more comedies.
well,
And thank you.
let me tell you one last thing. If you can't just laugh because of everything that's going on now, go to a yoga class. They have a yoga. Oh, what is it called? Yoga. I'll think of it just a second. Well, let's just call it yoga laughter, because that's what it is. I can't think of the name of it. But laughter yoga. That's what my daughter yelled at me. It's laughter yoga. My daughter is a yoga, so that's it. Anyway, everybody gets in the room and they lie down, and their heads are touching. So it kind of looks like a starburst, they all are in a circle, and their heads are here and their feet are out. And the part of their bodies are on wood, because most yoga floors are wood. And there is great resilience to the wood,
Right.
And the yoga teacher says, well, this may sound strange, but everybody go, ha, ha, ha. Well, when everybody starts, ha, 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 it is so funny that pretty soon everybody is laughing. And because of the vibration of the wood, it makes you laugh more, and everybody laughs. They laugh till they cry. I mean, it's a most amazing thing. So if you can't laugh on your own, go to yoga class where they do laughter, and it would be amazing.
Makes absolute sense, because when you start a certain vibration and the wood floor resonates, it creates more ripples, and it creates more of the same. Right. When we focus on laughter, we will attract more laughter. When we focus on something negative, we'll attract more of that. So folks, keep on focusing on laughter and joy, and you will have more of it. Thank you for this great analogy. And I have never heard about laughter yoga, but I would definitely check it out.
You've got to check that out,
Thank you so much for coming today, and wishing you well. And thank you for taking the time. Have a wonderful
day, my
day.
dear.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.